And now it's time to move to the camera setup, and we'll be setting up the isometric camera similar that we did in the first episode, but I want to go more into the depth because there we just use the default settings and change it to orthographic view. And right now I want to create more accurate isometric projection. And it's a lot of mathematical stuff. Basically, you have to Google a bunch of things to go through and learn about the different angles and values of the camera to achieve some results. You don't need to bother with that. I have a set of values that you can use right away to set up your isometric camera. And additionally, there's an add-on, isocam, which I found online from a different author. But it was made for Blender 2.79 and it didn't work in Blender 2.8. So I took it and rewrote some parts of the code to be compatible with the Blender 2.8, and I will attach that add-on for you to download. And later I will show you how you can actually activate the add-on and how to use the different types of isometric camera. So yeah, let's set up our camera manually first, and then I'll show you the add-on. First of all, let's reset the cursor and the view by pressing Shift-C. And this option can be found in the view, and it's the option Center Cursor and View All with the shortcut Shift-C, which basically sets the cursor to 0, 0, 0 again and resets the view. And now we'll add the camera, so press Shift-A, add, scroll down and click camera. And with the camera selected, we just need to insert some values for the position and rotation of the camera. And you can do that in the side panel, which you can open by pressing N. And it's the panel we used before. If you have the tab Item active, you can see there's location values, rotation values, and scale values. This is the place basically where you can enter these values and don't have to mess around in the viewport and scale and rotate everything manually. And it's used when you want to be really precise. So let's enter these values, and it'll be 30.609 for the X, and you can switch through these inputs by pressing tab, so press tab, and the Y will be minus 30.609, and the last one will be 30.609 for Z. Press enter, and right away you can see we changed the position of the camera without touching it. And right now change the rotation values, so it'll be 54.7 degrees for X, it'll be 0 for Y, and 45 degrees for Z. Okay, and now we can close this by pressing N again. And you can switch to the camera view either by clicking this icon here or pressing numpad 0. So I'll press numpad 0 right now to get into the camera, and you can see we have a nice view, which almost looks isometric because the camera is really far, but we have to switch the projection additionally. And right here in the camera tab on the right, you can see there is a type perspective, and it's the same as before in the first episode. You just need to change this to orthographic, and we need to adjust the orthographic scale. So you can do this manually and basically find whatever fits you, but I want to do this at D14.123, and let's change the viewport. So let's go to the output tab, and let's change it to something with the ratio 4:3, so something like 1600 to 1200 for X and Y. And the last thing, this camera view I have shown you these values you have to enter to get a perfect isometric camera centered on the 0, 0, 0 of the scene, but most of the time your design can go a little way up, like here, so you need to adjust that, and there's no problem with that. You just press G and Z with the camera selected and drag it out a little bit. And if you want to be a little bit precise, you can hold Control, but you have to switch to the increment, and again press G, Z, hold Control and adjust the Z position. And now if you don't want to set up this camera all the time manually, you can use the add-on that you can download under the video. There's download link. After you downloaded the file, you just go to the Edit, Preferences, and there's an add-ons tab right here, and there are a bunch of add-ons already in place which come bundled with Blender, and you can install additional add-ons with this button, Install. When you click that, it just prompts you to locate the file on your disk, so just search for the file in your file system, select it, and then click the button Install add-on from File. And after you have installed it, you have to activate it. So you can locate it by scrolling through the list, or you can use this search bar here, and let's insert ISOCAM. ISO is enough, and here there's a little checkbox which you will see unchecked. You just check it to activate the plugin, and that's all you need to do. Then you can just close this, and if you press N to open sidebar, you will see there is PR ISOCAM tab here, and there are a bunch of options to create different types of camera. So for example, when I press True ISOCAM, the new camera is created. You can see here in the outline view, there's still camera which we created before, but if you go to the scene settings, you can see the main camera is switched to the new one created by the plugin. That happens automatically, and it's called True ISOCAM, and it has a bunch of options that we entered predefined. And if you want different camera, because there are lots of isometric projections, the True ISOCAM is the model that the architecture visualization used and the blueprints. Game ISOCAM is something you could see in the games, in the strategy games like Age of Empires and something like that. I will show you right away. If you click Game ISOCAM, you can see the camera is slightly rotated. And then there is a 4:3 ISOCAM, which is more top-down perspective. So yeah, these are a bunch of options that you can use to create predefined isometric cameras without to go through all the hassle with the numbers. So let me go back and undo these cameras, switch back to the original one, collapse this, and don't forget to save. And let's move on to lighting.